Yo everyone, Skoggul here, making a video. On this account, it's my second account I'm doing ranked. I'm trying to play a lot of supports, because supports are considered where you cannot carry, you cannot climb out of elo, hell, all that stuff. I think I have played at least 50% of my game support. I did climb out early with some Renekton play. I went like 8 and 2 to climb my original elo to like 13-20 or whatever. Support's a little bit rougher though. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. Here's the thing. The other team probably doesn't want to be support, so if you learn the tricks, the tools, and what you need to be a good support, you can climb, once you hit about 1350, 1400, if you're better support than them, you will win 60 or so percent of your games and climb to 14, 15, 1600. Now, my favorite support for doing this is Taric. Why? A stun, that's 1.5 seconds, point. You can't miss with it. 2, he has a heal so you can sustain, and he has an armor buff that can strip armor for all ins, and his ult does do burst. Here is what I am doing right now. 125 is about the mark. Put a ward down for your top. When you're a support, you have a minimal amount of effect on the top lane. But let me explain what happens. If top lane snowballs against your team because of early ganks and getting camped, you might lose the game. And that makes you go down an elo. So that one ward cost me 75. I have 3 wards for my lane, which is matching the 3 wards from Nunu anyhow. And the threat of my top laner losing due to no ward coverage and getting ganked is now minimized. It's there. He could be terrible. He, like people say, elo hell is elo hell. This guy could be awful, but it's very unlikely. Okay, do not try to lead your stun is awesome, but try not to lead your carry into bad situations where he has to go out of position to harass to follow up on a stun. You want to be able to stun and make it easy for him to harass. You also don't want him, either one of you, to take a lot of damage from the creeps. Meanwhile, you don't have to follow up your stun with a shatter or an auto attack. Shatter is for when you're going all in because it strips their armor. If you're only going to get 1 or 2 auto attacks on them, try to save your mana on the shatter and keep your buff, your armor buff. I probably should have stunned him quicker there. That was a little slow. That's the type of situation where he would have taken quite a bit of damage from our creeps and it would have been worth it. Okay, he's traded a little bit, but here's the thing. Our creep wave's pushing, so any trades are going to do more creep damage to them than us right now where we're at. Maokai was going to have to pull off a pretty cool game because I've got this lane controlled. We have vision pretty far into their lane. It's going to be hard for them. I probably should have saved my mana and not stunned there. It didn't do me a lot of good. It's not doing him a lot of good to poke at my Tristana, and he's being so aggressive. I needed to ward that brush. That ward right there is about aggression. So I got an auto attack off, but I don't shatter. 1, I don't have shatter, and 2, auto attacking there isn't always a good thing, but we were closer to my creep line, so it's okay. You get a little bit of mana back and it lowers the cooldown on your heal. That's where when you can auto attack you want to, but don't put yourself out of position for auto attacks. As a support, not only am I supposed to ward, but anytime you see Maokai anywhere, like their jungler, you want to let your team know. You also want to learn to keep track of timers. Blue buff, red buff, dragon, and wards. Those are important. If you see them ward, tell your team and tell the time the ward expires, because it can help your jungler pay attention. So Nunu's playing a pretty dangerous game going into our creeps, because if he returns damage to us for auto attacking him, for hitting him, he takes creep attention and he takes damage for it. So when you're not winning trades, you don't want to be as far up as he is. And we just have to pay attention that we're not getting ganked. We haven't seen Maokai. He could be coming. He has a root. And I'm trying to keep my mana fairly high just in case that happens. The only thing I'm trying to do with any regularity is heal Tristana to keep Trist pretty full. If Tristana's pretty full, we're not very out of position. And there, it's hard to follow up a lot of damage because tower diving this early is very sketchy. And there's Maokai. We start backing. I start backing. I ping him. I'm trying to let him know. We get into this brush to drop his vision, and when I stun him here, Triss can jump away. It's interesting, but that little bit of a mechanic while I stunned before he went, so he's stunned when he gets there, which allows him to get the leap off, and there's no big root, no big fight, and Maokai has to back on out. And we get first blood top because they have the map awareness to know, hey, we got bottom covered, Maokai's not in position to help. They can kind of go really aggressive on him. And with the ward in the brush, this Nunu is extremely out of position. So I'm going to replay this. Let's slow it down. I want to talk about this. Okay, so here I'm just making sure Maokai doesn't dip into that brush. I was watching, but you never know when you miss something. And so what we see is, here's the creep line, and here comes Nunu running into the brush. I can walk up, hit him, shatter to take his armor away. I don't actually get the shatter off, but we're able to get the stun off and take one tower hit for a kill. I mean, that's a good trade for us. So anyhow, I'll speed this back up a little bit. The only issue I'm running into now is I'm out of mana, and I've got to get that ward back out. So here comes the ward. That's my spot when I don't have two. When you have two, you do dragon and try. If you don't, you do that, and you better respawn quick. And running, even though I don't have the mana for the stun, he doesn't necessarily know that. So running at him and staying in an aggressive position makes him think twice about even last hitting. See, he lost one there, he lost one there. He's going to lose some last hits because I'm running at him. And he doesn't back, so we're able to get some harass off, and I'm the one who takes damage, not Triss, so that's okay with me. I'm now under half-life and low mana, though, so I'm trying to tell Triss I've got to go back. You need to communicate. Don't just back and say, hey, I'm out of here. Don't be like, peace. You need to tell him, hey, be prepared. Stop pushing if you want to stop pushing. Let the lane come at you a little bit, or whatever you want to do. I just want you to know. Had I had mana, we could have killed Nunu again, because he gets extremely out of position trying to land ice balls. He wants to play like a carry, not a support. He wards that tri-brush, and I see it. So I know there's a tri-brush or ward in that tri-brush. I tell my team, and I've told Tristan I'm going back so that he doesn't get caught out of position. A funny mechanic happens here. I'm gone. He launches an ice ball. Just watch for a second. This is kind of cool. So off goes Kassadin. He's getting back to lane. And as I run off the tower, what is it? Froze? There it is. It hits me there. So, anyhow, 2 wards, Philostone. It's more important to get the 2 wards than it is to get the Philostone. Okay, my thoughts are we need Dragon warded. We're 7.5 minutes in. They could do it any time from now to 10, 11 minutes. Depends on if a team does early Dragon. So I placed the ward there, and I'm going to put in the Tri-Brush. I possibly could have just gone Tri-Brush because I have that one in the river, but I wanted to be safe. We've been pushing pretty hard, and I'd rather have really good ward coverage than not good ward coverage. They're pushing against us for pretty much the first time, and Kassadin starts coming down the river. So as soon as Kassadin comes down the river, I'm going to come get bush control. And Nunu doesn't really want to back off yet, and that's going to get him killed. And so here comes Kassadin, and Nunu's out of position. When you're not winning damage trades and you don't have wards, let me see their vision. See, they have no vision of the river, yet they extended past the river. If that makes sense for a second. Look at their vision on the mini-map right now. Just look at the mini-map. Look how they have 1 ward in the tri-brush and their blue side, and they have nothing in the river, and they push. And so there, Ezreal walks up as if I'm not going to be in that brush. So that's just some silly gameplay mechanics. Let me push it back to our side of the vision, sorry. So we've got that triangle of wards right here that you can see on the mini-map. That gives us control of Dragon, it gives us the Tri-Brush, and it gives us their Wraith Camp and into their jungle. For them to come bottom lane to stop us is extremely hard, as both ramps are taken away, and so is that. What they can do is Twisted Fate ult to get to us. Or they can go through their lane if they push to the tower into our first ramp and around past our blue buff. But that's pretty ballsy when you're not winning. That's just not a great move. And then, okay, I got my ultimate and I used it. Let me talk about Taric and his ultimate. Okay, so here comes Ezreal, your ultimate makes you have AP, so ult before you W. Hit ult before you W because it gives you that AP and it gives you the attack damage. But it's such a low cooldown. Look at it. It's already under 45 seconds. That is such a low cooldown that I recommend that if they come up and you're going to trade, you trade with your ultimate to trade with your ultimate. You will get lane dominance because they'll always be low. The only time that might not be a good idea is against, say, Soraka, because Soraka is going to just heal it all off. But on a non-sustain support like Nunu, just go ahead and just use your ultimate every time you land a stun and have mana to go. If you can stun ult W, you'll do a lot of damage even before you have follow-up damage from Tristana. And stunning there would have been bad because Trist was not in position. That would have just lowered my mana for no reason. And we know Maokai is hanging out, so we don't want to do anything silly. I'm going to stay as far back as I can. He needs to farm. And here's going to be my one death. And Cho'Gath comes. There goes the Maokai circle. Don't fight in the Maokai circle. Why I die is I flashed there. That was a premature flash. They weren't even focusing me. I could have easily walked out. And now when I go back in to support my Tristana, who I don't want to be extended, when Tristana jumps on out of here, I'm dead. Had I had flash, I would have flashed his ultimate, been gone, and we call 5-man top, and Irelia's going to push for the top tower. So, if that makes sense, what happens there and how I get myself killed. I flash when I wasn't being focused. That's a mistake people make, and they think it's okay. It's not okay. That's a long cooldown. And so they got dragon, we get top tower, and they got a kill. So that was my bad. That's on me, not my team. My team played that pretty well. I thought Cho'Gath was going to die, but he had flash. He used his flash properly. I do not. Okay, so I have a ward here, and even though... Oh, let me go back a second. Alright, they get dragon. There it is. There it is. Let me focus the map. Okay, so we time dragon. So we have to say 1743 is dragon, and we tell my team that. And I just want to show something. Nunu turns around, drops a ward. So at 1450, that ward's gone. And when I look at myself, I have a pink ward. I have two options here. I can kill that ward by the dragon, but we have a ward there, and I'd be double warding a spot just to kill a ward. And I decide against that. Some games I'll decide to do that, but we're dominating so hard, all I have to do is make sure Maokai isn't there. We don't need a gank to get a kill. And I wanted to do their Wraith camp, but I chicken out kind of because I don't see anybody. And there's Kale, and had I waited just a minute, I might have gone and done it. But if Kale would have been out there, it could have gotten me killed just to go put a ward on the Wraiths. And so I really just didn't want to die, but I want to support my mid and make sure that we have that river control. And they do ward the dragon because last time they didn't, they pushed and died. And I see Nunu coming, so I don't want him to have any control, and I don't want Maokai to sneak in that brush. And here comes Maokai at a time when they're pushing. He hasn't been there when we've been shoving them into the tower. He comes while they're pushed, and we know he's there, so it's not like we want to go fight that. We want nothing to do with it. Kale has teleport, even though it is on cooldown, as it's a fairly long cooldown. If we stick at the tower and I just keep healing Triss while he farms, he's able to still farm, and that's pretty important to make sure that you can farm while they push. And that is one thing that Nunu was lacking, was Nunu doesn't have a heal, and so Nunu isn't able to heal. And you've probably seen my ranked Nunu game if you watch me. I do like Nunu, but I know where Nunu's flaws lie. And so here, if Ezreal is to come out of position, I can take him. And they ward the brush. There's nothing I can do but time it and say at 1648 that ward's gone. And there's Ezreal. He's out of position. So I ult, W, and the only reason we don't kill him is Ezreal has flash and his arcane shift. But look at the lane dominance once again. I mean, sure my ults has 60 seconds or whatever, but at this point, we're fairly good. Maokai dies top, so there's no possibility on a turnaround. That's what I didn't want to do, is go check that brush to ward, and then while Maokai hit me in the face, and be stuck and beat them. So that's the thought of why I hesitated to run over there and put the ward. I walked forward and ran back, hoping that if Maokai was there, he'd be like, get premature and throw something at me, leap to me while I was in a decent position to escape. If he would have used his root and I would have gotten back to that brush, I would have been fine. So we take the tower, and then that's going to help our team a lot. Global goal, global experience, and we've put a lot of map pressure on, both top and bottom are down. So mid's the only one left standing. But I shouldn't have backed there. I back with them pushing, and I get a heart of gold, and I wait for my ward. I probably should have gotten just the health crystal and 3 wards and rushed back to the tower. And that little bit of a mistake, that little bit of waiting, I shouldn't have backed because I saw them and I could have defended the tower. I couldn't kill 2 of them, but I could have kept this tower up. So as a support, you need to think like, I backed because my carry backed, and I learned my lesson. Lesson learned. Next time, I wait. If my carry's backing and they're pushing, had they froze the lane, I thought we were winning. They're gonna freeze the lane. I said, what would I do? I'd freeze the lane. But you know what? I'm not this Nunu. This Nunu has been out of position constantly. Again, he's out of position. And I'm not sure whether I should stun him and ult him or whatever, or if I shouldn't because our vision's not fantastic. And there's Maokai. That's why I was a little bit afraid. And so we play this little game here. They can engage us 2-on-3, but they don't know where Cho'Gath is. So it's an interesting little mechanic to the game is, should that Maokai go in on us? Should he not? Play smart, pick your battles. And they knew where Irelia was and cast it, but had Cho'Gath been there, they couldn't have 3v3'd us. They can't beat us in an even fight right now. They can beat us if they have the advantage. So we need to make the same conscious decisions, like we need to do good. And now that I see Ezreal, I had a pink ward in this try, and that's how I saw Maokai, and I want to kill their ward. I know it's there, but I can't run over and do it while they have Nunu and Easy there, because Nunu and Easy can turn around and kill me. And so I have made the mistake, and I'm sure you have too, and it's just something to think about. If they can kill you for just clearing a ward, don't clear the ward. So we see Maokai, and it kind of intimidates them off the mid tower and intimidates them back, but we didn't want to fully engage that as they had 4 people there. And Trist is going to go in, which is actually fine because Cho'Gath is there. Irelia has them shoved back in the top lane. There's map pressure everywhere, so it's okay to be fairly forward, fairly aggressive. We also have that vision on that ramp, and we have the vision over at the dragon. So we're okay vision-wise right now for where we're at, and we have vision on the other side of mid. So the way we position our wards means the safest thing to do is to push mid. And then it's 1740. Let me go back a second. Let me explain something. So at 1720, I start telling my team Dragon will be up anytime. I'm like, Dragon will be up. So here's Dragon. Dragon's up. Cho'Gath, our jungler, doesn't come. Our top is over here for Dragon. I'm here for Dragon. Our mid's ready, posturing for Dragon. We're posturing for Dragon other than Cho'Gath. Usually it's the top laner or the AD carry that's like, no, man, I'm farming. No, our jungler. So they come to stop us, and we get into a fight. So Cho'Gath's mid, we go fight. And the interesting thing is, Cho'Gath, instead of coming for the fight, he keeps pushing, and he goes around, and he's going to, as we're fighting this and clearing, he tries to do something, he doesn't get his assist, and he'll just turn around, and instead of coming with us, he doesn't go support Trist, he goes and does Dragon. Okay, something that happens in this fight I want to talk about. We get the Nunu kill really quick for being out of position. We get the Twisted Fate kill for being out of position. And Irelia decides to dive at Kale. The cool factor is when she hits her Q, it blinks her for a second and let me take 2 hits. And so she's going to take 2 hits here. And those 2 hits, stacked with the other 2 hits that I took, would have killed her, but because she can blink and I took 2 hits, she stays alive. So you taking as a support, especially a tanky support like Taric, that is okay. Now Cho'Gath is going to get the dragon, which is a cool objective. Had he come with us, we would have had this mid tower. We would have had the inhib tower, and then we could have gotten dragon on the way back because they wouldn't have been able to press anything. So in some ways, it's good that he gets tower and dragon, and we get dragon control. In other ways, because he goes for dragon, it's going to get us caught pretty hard here, and we lose a major objective. I flash out of that new ult because I didn't want it. Irelia dives the support who wasn't worth any gold and gets killed, and Twisted Fate does the Twisted Fate thing and catches Kassadin. So honestly, had Cho'Gath just told, I mean, we knew he was at Dragon, so we could have played that differently. But he's just trying to be the solo queue superstar. He does not want to fight with the team. He's just fairly convinced that he won't fight with us. And at this point, we need to expect it because he just doesn't do much to help us. So I upgrade boots and get 4 or 5 wards. I do that a lot. 5 wards, a whole stack of wards onto one spot, is more important. The wards and the oracles are your main things. Your Shrelia's is cool. Your armor for Anduin's is cool. Mark Treads is more or less so I'm not so slow. And the tenacity. So that's more or less my thought there. So at this point, we need to press our advantage. And what do we have? We have Cho'Gath being a superstar, getting himself killed for a kill. And honestly, it's not that worth it to play like that. I mean, I guess he's trying to show that he doesn't need a team, but you do want to have a team. I ward here because as they have 4 men around, they had 4 people around mid. They could have tried to go around the back and gone and dove Kassadin. And yeah, I'm there, but supports can only do so much, and I really don't want to drop my oracles just because I don't want to use one of my 5 wards. So I'm going to get that one warded, and it doesn't turn out to be that effective because we can't go forward, but it was a safety valve. It was, I can now be a little bit more sure that we'll be okay where we're at. And what I want to do is ward the approach to dragon and clear these wards out. So I need to clear out as many wards as I can and ward the approach to dragon. I want to check the Baron pit, and then when it's clear, I tell my team, hey, we can do Baron. It's clear. So what I need to do is get as much pre-notice that they could be coming for us as possible. So I do the blue side, and on that side of the wall I get a little bit more vision out. If I do it on the other side, I don't get as much clear vision, and me and Irelia want to do it, but we don't really have the items to duo Baron. Cho'Gath comes. I'm here I just wanted to check to see if anyone was coming, and I'm going to tank a few hits so Irelia gets low, and I tank a few. Tristana kept Ezreal on the bottom, and that's okay. Even though Tristana's not here, because we kept Ezreal there, we know that Ezreal can't come. Because she pushed bottom and they showed bottom, this is a free Baron. So in some ways, since Tristana couldn't just he doesn't have teleport, nothing he can do to get here instantly, he goes and pushes that lane so that they have to respond, and it gives us a very easy Baron. And so at this point, we probably should have shopped immediately, but when Irelia went to defend the tower, I just didn't want her to get dove, so I come here, and what we need to do is get an objective. So I'm telling my team at this point, hey, we need to not waste our Baron buff. I'm going to speed it up because it's kind of boring, but we need to get something. Kale's there, we don't know where anyone else is, but that mid tower's low. We need to get something. And I ask us to group up. Cho buys. Tristana clears the camp, and I want to go mid. Irelia's buying. I really should have bought when Irelia bought, because what I could have done is gotten a bunch of wards to make this safer. And Cho'Gath doesn't want to come, but he's going to split push bottom. He doesn't really say much. I clear these wards. He just goes, even though we're saying, hey, can we go fight here? And you could see how they saw us and wanted to come, but they didn't have the balls to just run at me, and it made it kind of safe. So I just want to clear out any wards in the try, and I'm asking to group mid. I think that mid's our best objective point at this time. Cho'Gath split push is fine. He just wouldn't communicate with us. He wouldn't. If you're Cho'Gath in this situation, the main thing is just say, hey, I'm split pushing, so do not fight them 5v5. Let me do damage and back out. I mean, that's all you got to say. I mean, we pick up on that anyways, other than Irelia has to jump in. Irelia does nothing if she doesn't jump in, so we're pretty much going to try to fight, and he's got a pretty good wave going, and we've got that mid tower pretty low, so they can't really abandon mid as we're pushing to stop Cho'Gath with more than one person. If they send more than one person down for Cho'Gath, then we have mid inhib tower, and that's way more important than that inner tower right there. So they kind of just let Cho'Gath take it. And I am hoping that they chase me there. I was so hopeful that they would come get me. I should have probably stayed out a little longer. But Maokai baits himself anyways. He goes right into an Irelia and makes Irelia not have to go in. And so now, even if they fight us, even with Cho gone, we have Baron buff and a 4v4. So this is what we were looking for. The one thing that happens bad here is it was Kassadin who took the tower shot, and I just simply don't have my heal for 2 seconds. That's all it would have taken. I know healing while they have Ignite on isn't for a lot, but I think it would have saved him. It was pretty much a last tick Ignite kill. And so as soon as they went bottom to stop Cho'Gath and Trist went to support, as soon as they left, we knew that we could take this mid tower, and that was a mistake for them. They should have sent one person to defend the tower. They shouldn't have sent more than one person there. And so Cho's coming to help us, and Irelia is just doing a lot of damage. I mean, she's pretty snowballed. And I don't have my stun for a second. I did shatter to get the armor down, and Tristana, unfortunately, I didn't catch what was going on. I didn't have my stun or my heal. I don't know what I could have done for her. She just got focused, and our team wasn't. We were so focused on killing that we didn't protect our carry. But it comes out fairly even. We get Maokai, even though he's worth crap now. And it's basically just time to get out of here. As much as that inhib, we could possibly fight that 3-on-4. I'm still the support. I'm not strong. So, picking up stuff while you're retreating from them is huge. Blue buff spawns, Kassadin takes it. We check red buff because if it was up, we want to take it. When you're backing off from a big invade and a big tower thing, what you don't want to do is get into the closest brush and base. What you want to do is while you're retreating through the jungle, pick stuff up. Pick up buffs, pick up the dragon. It may not be worth it to throw your life away for the double golems, but it is definitely worth as a group if your team doesn't just leave you on your own, getting red buff, blue buff, and dragon. And then your team can get your own blue buff and red buff. So we pick up, red buff spawns right afterwards. Unfortunately, we didn't pick it up because it wasn't spawned yet. So I grabbed 7 wards, Aegis of the Legion, and my whole focus here is to ward every bush I can towards the top side toward in their jungle and in the pathways so that we can split push, catch people out of position, or just push and win with having knowledge that they can't be getting behind us and surprising us. That's the main thing. So my 7 wards is all I had the money for. I'd go up to 10 if I had to here, because with this push we can win the game. So my thought is ward here because that's a big chunk of the jungle that's warded, ward there, and now they have no brush on that side of the jungle. They have no brush. We can see everything. And I ward here because that's the pathway in between. So if they wanted to stop Tristana, that you would see them coming for the most part. You can go ward in between the towers. That is something I do right there. I wanted to get back to my team because of this fight right here. They try to jump on Irelia. They're chasing her, but at this point we're so far ahead they can't really do much. And I'm just trying to make sure Irelia doesn't die. I back off a little farther than she does. But my main thought there, don't let Irelia die. I'm about to go place all my wards, and we get the 4 kills. We catch Nunu, but they surrender. Thank you for watching, and take care. Good luck with your games.
Alright everybody, hey, it's been a while since I've done a video. I had the biggest issues with all these updates, everything. Every game I had, it just got errors. I couldn't make videos. And I didn't make a video log because I'm lazy. That's a different story. Okay, so I'm playing ranked, and I hear that support sucks in ranked, and you don't want to support if you want to climb ranked. I hear that advice from a lot of people. I do not believe it's true, and I wanted to prove it while I don't play ranked. So my other account, I play jungle, I play top. I do play top on occasion. I try to play Renekton just because he's a pub stomper and it's fun, and playing against a 1300 elo top laner as Renekton is pretty much cheating. If you want to get out of elo hell, I'm telling you, just stomp people with Renekton and Xin Chao. Just take Pub Stompers. The reason I like Renekton over Xin Xiao is he's manaless. You really can't get baited on the mana issue. So that's pretty sweet. Anyhow, besides my awesome Renekton 80% win rate, or whatever it is, it's really high on my other account too. I think it's 70 something, and then on this one it's 80. Alright, so I do have a lot more losses than I thought I would, but part of that is I'm playing support. I hadn't ever played Taric in my life until I played him in support, and I went like 0-4, 0-5 with him. And now I'm like 14-7. 14-8. And let me explain support and what you do. When you support and you want to win in lower elos, there's a few little tricks to climb up as support. One, now your team's pretty happy because people get to play the positions they want. You don't have team fighting, you don't have team arguments. That's huge at low elo. When you get above 1400, it's less of a big deal, and people are okay that you took mid instead of them. They're okay. They're not always okay, but you're way less likely to get someone raging that I've lost because I'm in elo hell and you made me support. That doesn't happen as much as 14, 15, 1600, and my duo queue partners sometimes are 15, 1600. Some of these games are 15, 1600 games, and I think I just cracked 1400, but as maining support, it hasn't taken me that many games. I'm like 70 games in, maybe. I don't even know if I'm that many in. Something like 70 games in, and I'm able to climb to 1400 maining support. I have played a few mids because no one wanted mid. I played maybe 4 or 5 jungles, and I played top. I have not played AD carry even once that I can think of. Besides, my friend played AD carry before I started this account. So a couple of my losses are off my friend. We kind of made this account for a different reason, and then I'm trying to rank on it just to, I want to have some training videos in ranked games instead of normal games. Because I could probably show you normal games where we stomp people. You can be super aggressive and try to make stuff work, but does that work in ranked? That's the question a lot of people have is, okay, you can pub stomp, you can play normals. Can you make that concept work in ranked? And yes, you can. You just have to be smart about it. So on this video, I show something where I support the top by placing that ward at 125, and I didn't miss anything in my lane. I might have to place it at 120 if I'm supposed to help with blue buff. You don't really have to help with the wolves. I could care less what he says. It's more important that your top does not lose by getting snowballed and camped than it is to hit the wraiths twice. I mean, that's all you're going to do on Taric. You don't have to play Taric. You can play any of them. Sona, I had my friend just main Sona from 1400 to 1550. Worked great. Went 70%, something like that. So that works. Sona's extremely strong. You want sustain unless they pick Kog'Maw or Bane. That's the only time to really pick Nunu, or they ask for it. If they pick Urgot, who's not played a lot, but he stomps at lower things if you're good with him, you take Soraka and just give him mana so he can spam. Urgot, who can spam Qs and spam Es, is going to win his lane, unless he is just outplayed by a better opponent. But that's why you have ranked. Elos match fairly similar opponents, and unless someone's smurfing through and trying to get another account up, you're usually going to win with Urgot if you have a Soraka. Without Soraka, maybe Janna's good for it, but then you just can't spam like you can with Soraka. Other supports, Leona Graves has an extreme burst combo. Leona also is great with Draven. Draven is a snowball champion, one way or the other. He has to catch his axes, so it forces him to be aggressive. So if you take someone who can punish aggression against Draven, you have a chance. Otherwise, if they take something that they can punish catching you, they're going to win. What else do I have to say about it? So, support that ward top, and if your mid's not warding their wraiths, try to. But take caution. Only go ward the wraiths when you can see 4 of their players, or you know that they're dead, or you've got to know where they are. If you walk into their enemy jungle as a support, you're either going to blow your flash or you're going to die. Or both. So, bad idea. But if your team comes with you, ask your mid. Say, hey, come with me real quick. 1, I'll help you take their camp. 2, I'll ward it for you. But just ask for help. And then the other thing is like little things like I have the pink on their tribe, but if I would have gone into the tribe rush, I'm asking for trouble because they clearly have it warded. That's why I was going in to clear their ward. So if they're in position to kill you for clearing the ward, don't clear the ward. Not worth it. Never worth it. So support, your main job is to, one, not waste your mana. That's the hardest thing to do on Taric, is not waste your mana. So many Tarics will be full life out of mana, and the other team, if you are against him, you can notice that and kill him. Because what is he going to do? He can stun or heal. He can't shatter. He can't ult. So try. And the other thing is, your ult is such a low cooldown that if you can catch the carry out of position with a stun and ult shatter, even if you don't pick up the kill, you'll assert lane dominance while your AD carry exerted almost nothing. So there's a thought for you. I believe right now Taric's king. It was Muffin Cutie I was watching who was talking about it, and he says Taric's king right now. He wins a lot with Taric, and he'll dodge Qs if the other team takes Taric. There's a pro player that agrees with what I'm saying, and I started playing him a lot. I played a little bit of Sona. Sona's so intensive positioning-wise. Sorry, my nose itches. So Sona's extremely position intensive. Taric can sit back and heal and stun their aggression. If they're going aggressive on you, you can heal and aggressive, and you have an armor buff, and you can go aggressive. Sona's versatile like that. Soraka is more passive. Going aggressive is just because your AD carry outplays theirs by a lot. How much control do you have over that? Not much. The only times I would pick Soraka are with Graves, because when he has tons of mana, it's just powerful. And then I would pick it with Urgot. Taric goes with everybody. I don't know of 80 carry that it is bad to pick Taric with. Blitzcrank, he's banned all the time, but he's a lot of fun. Nautilus is a mini Blitzcrank. If you really love that Blitzcrank hook, be super aggressive, throw out slows, tons of CC. Between your ultimate and your hook, you can basically guarantee kills at level 6. People underestimate the Nautilus support. I might start playing a little bit more Nautilus support. We'll see about that. Might do it. Let's see, other supports. Janna, I'm just not practiced with Janna. I wasn't practiced with Taric, and now I'm good at it. So I could try it. She has a shield. I've gone against good Janna. She has a disengage that pretty much says, hey, can't gank us. And then you do your little dance, can't gank us, you know, MC Hammer style. It's pretty annoying to go against Janna, to be honest, because they get out of some tight spots, and it's frustrating. She has her knock-up. She has a shield. The shield can also be a slow, but you don't use it that way. I have played a Lulu game support. I wanted to show it on my videos because I thought it was good, but I failed, and it doesn't record. It gives me that attempting to reconnect combo every time I try to watch the replay, and it just does it the whole time. And I can watch the replay, but my recordings end after about 30 seconds. So you could have 130-second clips. That would be cool. Actually, it wouldn't. Okay, so that's a little bit of my thoughts on support and trying to climb on support. I believe that at the 1400 to 1600 elo, unless you're good enough to completely stomp your lanes, where you pick later so that you can counter pick them, like if you pick top, if I pick late in the draft, I do not want to be, or then I can solo lane. If I pick first or second, I don't want to pick top or mid. You can get counterpicked and then outplayed. And then you have to outplay them by so much if you're counterpicked. You can win, but you have to outplay them. Like, someone picked Jace against my Jax, and I outplayed them, but that's just because they made mistakes, because Jace should be able to be okay because he can knock Jax away when Jax is counter-striking. So you have to know these things and say, hey, what can I do about it? And do they react in time? Do they know why they counter him, or do they just read a counter list and pick Jace? So that's why you don't necessarily panic. But what I try to do when I'm support is say, hey, buddy, you want a solo lane and you're a first 2 pick? I'll give you a solo lane. I have these champions that are for your lane, and for me, it's like I only missing 5 now. So it's like virtually they're going to want to trade with me, and I say, hey, I want Taric. If you pick me Taric, then the enemy team can't have Taric. I get Taric, and then you get to pick later in the draft, and people love it because then they're like, not only my top lane, but I'm not getting counterpicked. I didn't pick Darius just to have them take Teemo, Kale, or Yorick or something, because then Darius can't do that. But then they pick someone like someone that Darius can play against, and they get a pub stomp them, and then they feel like they're awesome. It's like I've traded with that game. I traded with Irelia, and had Irelia picked first, they might have been able to counterpick it. Instead, they picked Kale first, and then she goes, "Oh, they have Kale, I get Irelia." But I was fifth on the order, and so I had last pick, and so I just traded them picks, and it worked great. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Support, if you pick later, ask to trade so that they don't show the lane, and you still get a support. You still support, but now you helped your top lane not get counterpicked, and then drop them a ward. Good luck with your games. Take care.